What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? So I know the offseason isn't quite over just yet. Maybe we see Bryan Reynolds get moved somewhere. Maybe my Red Sox or another team can make one more finishing touch to the roster. But in this video, I'm going to go over what I think are the top 10 moves this offseason. Let's go talk about it. Before I get started, if you are new to the channel, think about subscribing down below. Hit the like button, the bell button, the share button. Hit all the buttons. Before I get to the actual list, I have an honorable mention, and that's the Red Sox signing Rafael Devers to a long-term extension. My, oh my, they needed to get this done. A 10-year, $313.5 million deal. He is the highest paid third baseman in Major League Baseball, and he is the highest paid player in Red Sox history. You know, they've had an up and down offseason, even going back a couple of years ago, trading Mookie Betts to the Dodgers, losing Xander Bogaerts to the Padres this offseason. Mookie Betts, like I just said, they needed to sign Rafael Devers long-term. 26 years old, one of the best bats in the game. A little slow in the second half last year, was dealing with some injuries, but this guy's one of the best hitters in the game. Hit 295 last year with a 358 on base, a 521 slugging, 27 homers, a 141 WRC+. You needed to keep this guy in the fold. You needed a face of the franchise, and the Red Sox got it done. Sure, it has been up and down for them, but at least they got this done. And for the Red Sox, who knows where they're going to be this coming season? There is potential with this team. They have had some other moves, bringing in Yoshida, Turner, Jansen, Chris Martin for the bullpen. So who knows what the Red Sox will be? But the one thing they needed to do was get Rafael Devers signed up to a long-term extension, and they did just that. At number 10, I have the Houston Astros signing Jose Abreu. Sure, they lost Justin Verlander to the Mets, but man, oh man, they improved this lineup in a big way. Jose Abreu last year, another good season for him. Over 157 games, hit 304 with a 378 on base, 446 slugging and 15 homers. So the power was slightly down, but Jose Abreu, this is one of the best hitters in the game. Definitely one of the best offensive first basemen in the game as well. Taking a look at the lineup, now you had Yuli Gurriel last year, and he did not have a great season, so he's currently a free agent. But getting Jose Abreu, making a big upgrade there, I think is going to be huge for this team. The rotation still looks really good, even without Justin Verlander. I think this rotation is just going to be fine. But the Astros, this was definitely a big move for their offense, and I think they're going to be quite deadly yet again. At number 9, I have the Blue Jays trading Teoscar Hernandez to the Mariners for Eric Swanson and Adam Macko. I really like this deal for both sides. Let's take a look at the Mariners first. Now, the Mariners, they weren't getting a whole lot of production last year from Jared Kelenic, from Jesse Winker, but Teoscar Hernandez, he is going to be a big boost for this Mariners lineup. Now, the offense was good last year for the Mariners, 9th overall, but if we take a look at slugging percentage, they were only 17th overall, so they needed another bopper in this lineup. And Teoscar Hernandez, this guy, he's going to bring some power to this lineup. Hit 267 last year, 316 on base. You know, not amazing numbers right there, but look at the slugging, a 491 slugging, 25 home runs, a 129 WRC+. This is what the Mariners needed. Now, it did come at the expense of an Eric Swanson, who had a really good season in their bullpen last year. 57 games, a 1.68 ERA, 1.85 FIP. Taking a look at the strikeouts per 9, almost 12 strikeouts per 9, under 2 walks per 9. This is going to be a huge boost for the Blue Jays bullpen, getting a really good setup guy. And last year, the Blue Jays, you know, they were kind of middle of the road when it came to the bullpen. You had Jordan Romano, who was pretty much the biggest part of that bullpen last year. Very good. But they needed something else in that bullpen. So Eric Swanson, that's going to be a huge upgrade for them. I love this move for both sides. I think the Mariners get a power bat that they really needed. And I think the Blue Jays, hey, they got a good bullpen arm, and they also got Adam Macko, too, some organizational depth when it comes to the pitching. At number 8, I have the New York Mets re-signing Brandon Nimmo. This is a guy who I think was one of the more underrated free agents this offseason. And the Mets, I mean, if they lost Brandon Nimmo, they were going to be losing their spark plug, their leadoff guy. This guy's been an on-base machine over the last few years. Last year, hit 274 with a 367 on base, 433 slugging, 16 homers, a 134 WRC+. His defense was really solid out there in center field. Now, for the Mets, you know, sure, they got a lot of star power on this team, but if they lost Brandon Nimmo, I mean, I think that would have been a really hard bat to replace. You know, sure, could you have gone with maybe Starling Marte in the leadoff spot? Yeah, sure. But with Brandon Nimmo, this guy has just been your leadoff guy now for the last couple of years. To me, You could not lose him. It looked like they were maybe going to. There were a lot of teams showing interest, but I'm glad he ended up going back to the Mets. They needed him back, but Brandon Nimmo, I think he's going to continue to be that spark plug for the Mets. At number 7, I have the Atlanta Braves trading for Sean Murphy. This was actually a 3-way deal between the Braves, the A's, and the Brewers. I'll get to the Brewers here in just a second, but what a great addition for the Atlanta Braves. One of the best overall catchers in the game. Sean Murphy is going to give you a good amount of offense, but very good defense as well. He's good with the pitching staff. And not only did they trade for him, they signed him to a great extension. 6 years, $73 million. You got a club option for 2029. The Braves are just gonna brave when it comes to getting these extensions done for these younger players, man. Love what the Braves are doing. Their lineup is looking very good, top to bottom. Offense looks great. You got good defense on this team, good pitching. Love the way the Atlanta Braves are looking. But let's also take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers. They got William Contreras in this deal. Not going to be as good defensively as Sean Murphy, but he's going to bring a bat that I think the Brewers really needed. Last year, hit .278 with a .354 on base, .506 slugging, a .138 WRC plus. Again, the defense is not going to be amazing, but he definitely could improve. But with the Brewers, they're getting another bat here. I really like the way the Brewers lineup is looking. As for the A's, though, they definitely lost in this deal. They were kind of looking for the tools that, you know, a lot of these guys ended up getting, like Royber Salinas, Freddie Tarnack, you know, and Esteury Ruiz. They're guys they show really 1 or 2 really good tools, but not amazing overall. Now, Kyle Muller was probably the leading piece in this pitching prospect, but the A's, I definitely think they fell short when it came to getting more talent back in this deal, especially for someone like a Sean Murphy. We'll have to wait and see how these prospects end up turning out. But I love this move for the Braves. I love it for the Brewers. Who knows? Maybe it could end up being good for the A's, but overall, this was definitely one of my favorite moves of the offseason. At number 6, I have the New York Mets signing Justin Verlander. What a huge move this was for the Mets, especially after losing Jacob deGrom to the Texas Rangers. What a pivot for the New York Mets, bringing one of the best pitchers in the game on a 2-year deal. Kind of fits the way they're trying to, you know, bring in contracts at this point in time within their organization. A 2-year deal, I mean, it's a lot of money. 2 years, $86.66 million. There's also going to be a vesting option for a 3rd year. But Justin Verlander, man, this guy coming back from Tommy John last year, a great season, helping the Astros win the World Series. 28 starts, a 1.75 ERA, 2.49 FIP. The strikeouts were still pretty solid at 9.5, kept the walks down at 1.5, under a home run per 9. That's actually much lower than it had been, you know, in going back all the way to 2016. He was over a home run per 9, and he got it way down there, and the velocity is still looking good with Verlander. I love this move for the Mets. Again, it was a great pivot, and the Mets continue to look like a championship contender. At number 5, I have the Phillies signing Trea Turner. What a huge move this was. One of the best shortstops on the market. It was rumored for a while that Trea Turner and the Phillies were looking like a match made in heaven, and it ended up happening. Trea Turner continues to be one of the better players in the game. 160 games last year, hit .298, a .343 on base, .466 slugging, 21 homers, a .128 WRC plus. He's going to bring you good defense. He's going to bring you good speed. You know, how will he hold up by the end of this deal? It's a long deal, 11 years, $300 million, $27.3 million per season. But for the Phillies, this lineup is looking absolutely ridiculous. And right now, here on Fangraphs, you don't even have Bryce Harper here because he's going to be coming back from surgery about halfway through the season, maybe June, July. But when Bryce Harper comes back, my goodness, this lineup is going to be stacked top to bottom. But I think Turner, obviously, he's bringing a good bat, but he's, you know, you're bringing him in with Bryce Harper out. I mean, this lineup is going to be just fine without Harper. Bringing you good defense, good speed. I mean, what else is there to say? It's a great move. The Phillies, but what I love about it is that the Phillies, you know, coming 2 wins away from a World Series, showing that urgency to try and win a World Series. I love the way the Phillies are looking. They've made a couple other moves here as well. But the Phillies, they're once again going to be very dangerous this year in the National League. At number 4, I have the Yankees signing Carlos Rodon. They have needed a number 2 guy in this rotation behind Garrett Cole for what feels like forever, and they finally did it. Carlos Rodon, one of the best pitchers on the market this year, a great season last year with the Giants. 31 starts, 2.88 ERA, a 2.25 FIP. My goodness. Strikeouts at around 12 per 9, 2.5 walks per 9, under a home run per 9. Velocity is still looking good. Now, the one thing with Carlos Rodon in the past has been health, but last year he showed that he is looking healthy. So that is, I mean, one thing I think Yankee fans will keep an eye on. But man, this rotation with Rodon here looks absolutely fantastic. Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Severino, Cortez, and then Germán. Frankie Montas is going to miss a little bit of time at the beginning of the season, so what ends up happening with him? But the Yankees desperately needed a number 2, and I'm glad, as a Red Sox fan, I'm not glad, but as just a baseball fan in general, I'm glad they finally got their number 2 guy. At number 3, I have the Diamondbacks trading Dalton Varsho to the Blue Jays for Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Dalton Varsho is one of my favorite players in the game. This dude is like a linebacker out there. He plays catcher. He plays center field. He can do it all. Dalton Varsho, I think, is absolutely fantastic, and I think he was a huge pickup for the Toronto Blue Jays. A lefty bat as well, but a hard-nosed guy. He's just going to bring some grit to this Blue Jays team that I think they really needed. But Dalton Varsho, I think one of the more underrated players in the game. Sure, batting average and on base don't look all that great. The slugging doesn't look amazing, but 27 home runs, a 106 WRC plus, that's not amazing either. But he's going to bring you really good defense out there. He's going to bring you some good speed as well. I think for the Blue Jays, this is going to be just a different looking bat in their lineup. I just love Dalton Varsho. I think he's going to be a great addition. The Blue Jays, I think, are just looking really good right now. I don't know if anyone's noticing the Blue Jays, but this lineup looks fantastic. Let's talk about the Diamondbacks. They got one of the top prospects in the game, Gabriel Moreno. This guy, I think, is going to be an absolute stud. He's been amazing down in the minor leagues. I mean, look at the tools that he has. He has a 70 future hit tool, 50 raw power, 50 speed, 55 field. He's going to be a really good catcher in the future. 25 games last year in the major leagues at 319 with a 356 on base. The power's not quite there, but I do think he's going to end up being fine. Maybe 15, 20, 25 home runs consistently in his career. But this guy, the Diamondbacks, I feel like they've been trying to find their catcher for a long time now, and here they are. This is now their catcher for the future. They also got Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and, yeah, you're losing Dalton Varsho, but at least with Gurriel Jr., you're adding a guy that is really cheap, and he's pretty solid offensively. He's not going to be amazing defensively out there, but last year hit 291, had a 343 on base. Not a whole lot of power with him, but he's going to be pretty decent with the bat. So I think the Diamondbacks, they did pretty good here. I just really like this trade for both sides. I can't wait to see, well, actually, I can wait as a Red Sox fan, but I think Varsho is going to be a really good addition for this Blue Jays team. I think for the Diamondbacks, they got their catcher for the foreseeable future. I'm excited to see how this deal plays out. At number 2, I have the Yankees re-signing Aaron Judge. It was looking like Aaron Judge was going to be going to the San Francisco Giants. They ended up getting Arson Judge. Fell short for Aaron Judge, but I think this was absolutely huge for the Yankees to bring him back. He's the face of the franchise. He's not the captain of the team. He'll have a statue one day if he keeps putting up these kind of numbers. I mean, look at these numbers. I mean, 62 home runs, breaking the American League record that was held by Roger Maris previously. Hit 311, a 425 on base, a 686 slugging, 207 WRC plus, and 11.4 Fangraph WAR. An amazing season, a historic season for Aaron Judge. This was something you just absolutely had to do. Yeah, you're paying a lot of money for him, $40 million per year, 9 years, $360. But the Yankees, they had to bring him back. If you didn't bring back Judge, that was going to just, the hole in that lineup would have just been so big. I'm not sure if they would have been able to fill that. You got to remember, second half last year, the Yankees offense was really bad, but Aaron Judge was just consistently good the entire way through. I think for the Yankees, bringing him back, this was definitely one of the best moves of the offseason. And at number 1, I have the Rangers signing Jacob deGrom. Reports were suggesting towards the end of the season that the Rangers had their eye on Jacob deGrom, and they landed him. Now, health has been a concern for Jacob deGrom over the last few years, but he looked pretty healthy last year after coming back from when his scapula exploded or whatever the heck happened with his scapula. But reports are showing that he is in good health. Everything is feeling good with him. And look at the numbers that he put up last year in 11 starts. ERA at a 3.08, but look at the FIP, a 2.13 FIP. The strikeouts are still incredibly high with Jacob deGrom. Last couple of years posting over 14 strikeouts per 9. To me, Jacob deGrom, when he's healthy, and I think he will be healthy moving forward. I don't think the Rangers would have just gone, fully overboard like this. A 5-year, $185 million contract. I don't think they would have done that, if they didn't think this guy was going to be healthy. But to me, the Rangers, they needed an ace. They needed a guy for this rotation. And who better than Jacob deGrom? Again, the two words, if healthy. But if healthy, Jacob deGrom is probably the best pitcher on the entire planet, in the entire galaxy. My goodness. But this, to me, Aaron Judge was huge going back to the Yankees, but the Rangers really needed to make a move like this. They're up and coming. They got a lot of young talent in that organization. They're getting very close to competing. They've added a ton of other pitching this offseason. Nathan Eovaldi, Andrew Heaney as well, bringing back Martin Perez, John Gray last offseason. But Jacob deGrom, this to me, this is your ace. This is your guy. What else is there to say? I think for the Rangers, this was absolutely huge. And that to me is the best move this entire offseason. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. What were your favorite moves of the offseason? What do you think were the best moves this offseason? But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.